Hello. What are you at, boys? Terry Ryan here. Episode, what are we at? 207A of Tales with TR. 207B will feature former NHLer, 15-year NHL vet, podcaster, author, good buddy Matthew Barnaby, and one-time opponent. I know Matthew so well now that everything that defined him to me was the time we fought on Hiking in Canada, but I don't even think about that anymore. I've often said it would have been nice to play on Matthew's side. I see a lot of we've got a lot of the same attitudes, I guess, and approach to the game of hockey. There are similarities the way we play too. Both left wingers shot left. Fought a little bit, about the same size. Fought a little bit. Matty fought a lot. I fought a lot. He fought an absorbent amount. He had almost 500 penalty minutes one year. And the year I had 256, I had 34 majors. Or 34 fights. So I can't imagine how many he would have had. I at least 50, would it? I mean, how would you get all those penalty minutes in? Anyway, we'll ask him about it. And answer a few of your questions. So, Nancy in Sioux Falls, again, didn't I have someone from Sioux Falls last week? Sioux Falls isn't a big place, so there must be, and I think that, do they have a USHL team? I don't know if hockey's huge there, but anyway, thanks for listening, Sioux Falls. And answer your question, Nancy. Why only 4 nations at the 4 Nations Cup? Well, it's the 4 Nations Cup, so that's why there's only 4 nations. But yeah, why? I know what you're saying. Why 4? Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm assuming, I saw David Pasternak made a comment the other day. So we just had the World Championships. Czech and Swiss were in the final. And neither team is in the 4 Nations Cup? Why don't they just call it the World Cup and have more teams? I get Russia not being in for all kinds of reasons, and that's a letdown hockey-wise, but I get it. But, you know, what? Why aren't... So if it's 4 nations, I don't even look at it yet. I'm guessing what? Canada, U.S., Finland, and Sweden? Why wouldn't you have Czech? For that matter, why wouldn't you have Slovakia? Why wouldn't you have Switzerland? You know, I don't get it. They would be fairly competitive. I mean, Team Canada World Championship wasn't just a bunch of schmucks. They're all NHL. They have a couple of real high-end guys. Without listing everybody off, yeah, there are multiple players on that team that would make or at least have a good shot at Team Canada 4 Nations Cup. Right? And Swiss just beat them. Fuck, man. Like Pasternak and fucking Czech. Roman Josi? I mean, I can go down every fucking player off both teams. I'm just saying, there's superstars out there. Team Switzerland is majority NHL now. Team Czech is all NHL, isn't it? Because there's guys that aren't over there that are still in the playoffs. So if you were to start from scratch, are you telling me that Czech and Switzerland are such a pushover when everybody's involved, but at the World Championships they can make the final? I don't know. I don't know the reason. I don't even honestly care about it that much. It's disappointing to me there's 4 teams. 4. That's all you can fucking come up with, a big hockey competition? You know, it's hardly fucking Gretzky Lemieux in 87. It's hardly fucking Paul Henderson in 1972. Remember last time they had a World Cup? Didn't they have a Young Guns team? And not that I want that, but I mean... 4 teams. Who cares? I don't even consider it anything. I don't consider it an Olympics, a World Cup, nothing. You have 4-team tournament. Fuck, why even play with hitting? I don't know. It's a disappointment. I guess the only positive is seeing, if you're from Canada, it'd be nice to see like McDavid play with Crosby. Is Bedard even going to be there? Would he be? I mean, I think, but I don't know. He was just the 13th forward on the World Championships, of which most people clearly don't think is worth its weight in fucking water. Or, you know, so if he barely could get ice time there, you think now he's going to? with fucking Canada's roster, right? All of a sudden, Sidney Crosby comes in, McDavid. I don't know, going off to Marner. A lot of people probably went, when I said Marner. Come on, Marner would be on that team. There'd be, Jesus. Oh, there'd be lots. My head's drawn a blank. So here's just some names that I had written down anyway earlier. I tried to do this the other day. So McKinnon, obviously, right? Crosby. Wouldn't you take Hyman? Right? You'd have to take Zach Hyman. 55 goals. Right? Matthew Barzal. Point. Reinhardt. Stamkos. Like, those are just some Canadians that obviously, unless they have a injury or they really tail off, they're going to be on the team. So is Bedard just going to be on it now? He was the 13th forward on a team full of B players. Now, B players for Canada are fucking awesome. And I know we lost, but, overtime, shootout, whatever. I mean, other teams are catching up. Big deal. I think Four Nations Cup, we're going to have a good squad. I want to see it. I'm just not intrigued by the competition. Wait, do you get a ring for that? Is there a bronze medal game? You come second last if you get bronze. You're second last. If you lose in overtime in the bronze medal game and have a good tourney, losing in overtime, so close to a medal, you came dead last. You could say, I nearly got a medal, or you could say, I came dead last. 4 teams. Man, we joke about the teams in the no-show in Sudbury. Part of the joke is that there's only 4 teams, I think, in the first year when we're playing that, right? Nat says, hey, Zig, why is there only 4 teams? I think she says, because it's senior whale shit hockey. We're joking about it. Yet the best in the world, think about how many players you're going to omit. I'd almost throw Germany or Austria in there, or Germany and Austria combined. God, don't you want more competition? Fucking 4 teams. God damn. I don't know. I find it, after all these years of never having best on best, I think now we're trying to force it. And you're not going to have Russia, they would have a lot of players, a lot of great players, obviously. They would be in contention. You're not going to have Czech. You're not going to have Slovakia. You're not going to have Switzerland. Why? You know what? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason behind this. Maybe, I really don't know. Maybe the reason is a great reason, and I've just wasted the last 8 minutes and 3 seconds of your time. Anyway. Yeah. Speaking of 8, what was that? Why was that? Oh, there's a story in Matt Barnaby's book. Speaking of 803, there's a story, and he's at the draft meetings, and John Muckler says to him, hey, kid, I know you like to fight a lot, but you're not very big. The NHL's a big boys league. What if you come in full of piss and vinegar and Bob Probert wants to fight you at 8:05? And Barnaby says, well, that's easy. I would have already asked him at 8:03. I love it. Like my favorite quote from his book. And we will ask him about that and many other stories. I'm really looking forward to that. Another person asks, okay, so this is Sajak 3 in Saskatchewan. Okay. He's asking me about the video review. Look, you're preaching to the choir. I know what you're saying here. You say half the time nobody still knows, and it's just as divisive as if you didn't go to review in the first place. So analytics are telling us to cancel it, but yet we don't. Okay. Here's my, thanks for listening, by the way. I've talked about this before. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I know what you're saying. Like, everything now in the game most things are judged on analytics, right? Now, the analytics say that even when it goes to video review, there's still just as many people that disagree. I don't know. Recently, just last night, or 3 nights ago, Trouba threw an elbow, right? You slow it down. They slowed it down on the ice, and they decided it's still a 2-minute penalty. It's not a major, it's a 2. So they've already reviewed it. Then after the game, they review it again, and now you get a $5,000 fine. My thing is that how is it a $5,000 fine if it wasn't a 5-minute penalty? And you've already, I get it if you haven't already reviewed it, but they reviewed it on the ice. The officials sat there for them, and maybe people in Toronto, wherever the main, I think it's in Toronto, the main hub of whatever it is, Hockey Night in Canada, or the NHL, off-ice officials, not Hockey Night in Canada. But so they reviewed it again as the game was going on, and they decided to give him a 2. So then what are you saying after the game? You reviewed it again? So, like, if you review a goal, can you take the goal back the next day as well? Like, I just don't get how that happened. It's a 2-minute penalty. Is definitely not a 5, but you're going to get fined the maximum amount according to the rule book, which, of course, $5,000 is petty chump change to a guy like that. But still, I'm saying it's still the most allowed. They gave him the most of where people sit financially has nothing to do with it. We just gave you the most allowed under the NHLPA agreement. We gave you the most possible money fine. Yet, it's nothing. It's just like hooking somebody or holding somebody in the corner. It's a 2-minute penalty. We reviewed it twice. Once we said it's 2. Next time, you have to pay maximum. So I don't know. So to go back to your point, yeah, I don't know the answer. I don't think I think when it comes to offsides, penalties afterwards, yes, but during, no, because I get the only thing I get for video review is if the puck went in the net or not. Really? Even some of this goalie stuff in front, no one even knows ever. They don't know, right? Like, it goes to review, and you're sitting there, and half the rink wants to know, and half doesn't. Or sorry, half the rink agrees, half doesn't. The viewers at home, yeah, every time it happens, I'm on the. I know my buddies are either I go on to Twitter or I text my buddies. None of us can agree. So why slow the whole game down for something that just remains divisive anyway? I don't know. I like the human element to it. I think years ago, Matt Duchene was like 12 feet offsides, and one of the linesmen didn't see it. And from there, it's been a trickle-down effect of video review for everything. And I think they're going to add more before they take it away. But starting with offsides, I think offsides should be right now removed, video review removed. Going back 1 inch here or there. I don't ever remember on the bench going, oh, that goal should be called back. It was offsides 3 minutes ago. Fucking stupid.
We're this close to crowning the Stanley Cup champion, and with the action heating up on the ice, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New to DraftKings? Well, listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5 and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. One no-sweat bet per new customer. Issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/ice for eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
Okay, and some of you watched Shoresy Season 3. TR, what was your favorite episode? Better. Okay, Matthew in Peoria. Hey, TR, what's your favorite part of the first 2 episodes of season 3 so far? So, my favorite part, as the show grows, as we develop the characters more and more, and you know more and more about Sudbury, the girls, the guys, the community. I think as we go, it's not just character development. You're developing, I think, the relationship with the Bulldogs and the community and the Bluester fans, Bluester Club, as they call them. So I love that all, because I think Jared, even though the show is really funny and I think it would be considered comedy more than anything, but he really does lay down a foundation of what it's like not only be a hockey player, but a teammate in anything. Just there's a lot of that you don't have to be a hockey player, but you even if you're not into sports, you've been a teammate. You've had to stick up for somebody at some point. And I think despite the ignorance of some of the players, of Shoresy and the players on certain maybe things that might be political or within the game. I don't mean political as in like their views on government or any of that. I just mean, social situations, often we're a little bit crude, right, in the show when we talk about it. But there is definitely a heart there. And Shoresy deep down uses that as a shield. And we all use it as camaraderie. But Matthew Barnaby will tell you, you bust each other's balls. That's part of it. That's part of being accepted. And I think people get that. I don't know if you play beer league softball. It's the same, right? Like you like going and putting on your gear with your teammates. That's where it starts, right? And then battling and having a common goal. It doesn't always have to be the Stanley Cup. But there's a real process to that. And there's ups and downs. And we're there. And if we win or we lose, and you can see at the beginning of, won't give too much away, but there's times in the show, right? Not just episode 1 and 2, but in season 3, but it explains what it's like to win and lose as a team and how much that affects players, even if it's in the no-show, right? How it affects you mentally. And am I not pulling my weight? Am I not? Come on, guys. Come on, girls. Let's get into this. Let's do it. We got one common goal here, right? We got to put the puck in that net more than they do. Now, your goal at home might be playing soccer. It might be playing baseball. It might be softball. It might be a community, or it might be a project at work. You might be a real estate agent. Okay, now let's all come together. We got this. We got a fish on the line here, and it's going to be a big one. Do you guys want? Let's do this. There's, I just, to me, I approach almost every situation in life, if I have a team around me, by including those members of the team. And if you see that in Shoresy, right, like think of all the off-ice things we do together. We're solving problems. I know there's a lot of people from America listening now, so I don't want to give it away. But in the first couple of episodes, right, you see Shoresy come in. He's got, I guess they have some problems to solve that are not on the ice, right? And they're all together doing it because they're teammates. They're friends, teammates that have each other's backs. And that, to me, is my favorite theme of Shoresy. And sometimes it gets really, what's the word, poignant? You get goosebumps. Like, people have told me they've cried watching it. Dude, I know, I'm in it and I've cried watching it. Right? I find it, and not only, it's not always tears of complete joy or sadness. It's just like, man, like, how lucky am I to be a teammate in general? And, like, what a great sport that we play. And for all its misgivings and, people might be down on the lingo we use or the fights within a game or maybe even the music that gets played at a game. Maybe you fucking hate hockey, right? But I think if you look at Shoresy's overall attitude, you have to respect, if you're any kind of compassionate person whatsoever, you have to respect the lengths he'll go to protect his teammates and to be a teammate. a lot of that shit that he says, that's just external. That's a shield, right? All the chirps and everything, and they're great. And they're really funny, but I think that's what makes Shoresy Shoresy. Even the best chirps at Shoresy is given to Corey and Liam, right? When he's a referee, usually. And, but even they know some of the things he's saying, if that was serious, obviously, you'd have to fire him at the very least. But it's just busting each other's balls. And it shows that on the outside, Corey and Liam are part of it too, right? Like if you were to ask Shoresy if Shoresy was a real person in real life, he might carve Corey and Liam, but he loves them, right? You know what I mean? And I like how Jared gets that point across. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the show Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. I thought it was brilliant from the point of view that when it was funny, it was really funny, but it dealt with a firefighter that had a lot on his mind and dealt every day with death, personal tragedy, and still there was, a good dose of humor in there. And in other words, we all go through a lot, but we're human. And part of the healing process is always going to be some level of humor or positive acceptance or whatever. And often humor leads to that. So I remember, and I think the same about Jarrett writing Shoresy, that I love Letterkenny. I think it's more funny than anything. And it could be just a series of skits. And I love them all. It's one of my favorite shows ever. But I do find in Shoresy there's a heart to it. And it's I think it's brilliant writing because it's hard to balance such visceral feelings of what goes into a hockey game, playing through injuries and bleeding and sweating for each other and calling each other out, constantly, to the sheer joy of winning and being a human and being a teammate. And then all the while laced with humor, so I can't talk directly about the scene because a lot of people haven't seen it, even though it's released here in Canada, but I know what you guys are thinking. And those that have seen it, the competition of sorts that we have off the ice, that was hard to get through. Really, really hard, without erupting into laughter, without absolutely erupting. Even when I read that on the script for the first time without anybody involved, I started laughing. And I often wonder, I get excited each time I get, usually what'll happen, we will be sent the first few scripts. It may be a month, maybe two before we actually go to camera. And I'd look forward to those days because I'm like, whatever's going to make me laugh out loud when I'm reading it is probably going to be great. And as soon as we all get in the same room and fucking Shoresy starts going in his Shoresy voice, and we'll hear it. Even when we start rehearsing, right? Kiso's Kiso, and there's, of course, similarities, but Jarrett Kiso is not Shoresy. There's more differences. He's definitely, the similarities are in being a teammate and hockey player and humor and all that stuff. But, Ted Hitchcock isn't Terry Ryan. There's a lot of real close things there, of course. There's a lot of parallels, I should say, in their lives. Well, Jarrett Kiso isn't Shoresy, and it's his voice, but there's a little tweak to his voice. And even when we start rehearsing and he brings out that voice, it's really hard for me to contain it. I often, I remember during those scenes, I remember trying to go through the alphabet forward and backwards in my mind, like giving myself some mental challenges that I could take my mind like off of what we were about to do and how we were about to act like a bunch of kids, right? So there's mental tools that I'll use often to take my mind off things right before we start. And then when we're in the moment, it's not so bad. When I say without erupting, it's usually in rehearsal and like right before we're about to say action, because I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this without bursting out? But then I just think about other things. Once we're in the moment, might happen here or there, but I can usually keep a straight face. And even you can almost start smirking And it might work for the scene. And some scenes have laughter in them. So you're laughing, but wait till you see the last scenes of episode or of season 3. You're going to see us all. And so that's great because we can be ourselves. Sometimes I want to laugh and the scene calls for that. So you're like, oh yeah, bring it, Anyway, so that's a long way around your question, but there it is. Two questions. Yeah, I got to get out of here now because, for a few reasons. But I'm going to Moncton tomorrow for the tomorrow evening or Thursday. This is Tuesday on Thursday evening, and I'm going over for the Heart and Stroke. I think I've mentioned it. The fundraiser that we do. We're going to raise a lot of money. We usually do. Last year we raised almost $1 million in just this one weekend. It's myself and 19 other quote-unquote celebrities, ex-hockey players, whatever you want to say. And Tessa Bonhomme will be there, Shoresy fans. I'm looking forward to that, seeing her again. She's a great girl. A few girls off the national team. I'm not sure who yet. Pretty much everybody else will be like me, which, played a little bit in the NHL, but might, I think more people there want to see Ted Hitchcock now than Terry Ryan when I go to this thing. Put it this way, last year I went first, and that would never normally happen with Denny Savard and Jeremy Roenick. And that's what you get 20 teams, right? And they raise money all year right up until now. And then if you raise the most money, you get to pick first. So last year, I think we raised $973 overall last year, nearly $1 million, all 20 teams combined. But the team who picked first picked me, and I guarantee you that if I'd gone 2 years before that and I was going as Terry Ryan, I would have been lucky to go fucking in the teens, right? But not 20th. But after, the people who picked me last year, of course, and wicked fucking dudes too. Awesome, awesome guys that I still talk with, like a lot of them. But, it was Ted Hitchcock being picked. So that's what happens is that each team raises all this money and you go to a draft. We all play golf Friday morning, and then we go to a draft, and they pick us, judged on in the order of who raised the most money, right? So then we all go and we play with them the next day. So there's games set up Friday night, and then Saturday, and I think a couple on Sunday morning. And you play at least 3 games together, and if they draft you, you get to hang out with them all weekend. So whatever. Last year we had a great time, and we all went over to one of the boys' houses, had some beers, had a bite to eat, and they took me to a couple of local establishments. And then at about midnight, we went and we met Matt Barnaby and the teams that had drafted him, and Denny Savard and Jeremy Roenick and Chris Neal. And, we all kind of met up at the same bar in Moncton. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a lot of fun. So this thing is a celebration of hockey, but we raised so much money. And really, everybody's there. We're going to be out around. The whole point of it is to be social in Moncton. So if you're listening to this and you're anywhere close, I used to play in Fredericton, Freddie Beach. It's not far away. Halifax, the Atlantic provinces really, I guess I should say the Maritimes. Newfoundland, fun fact, isn't part of the Maritimes. We're part of the Atlantic provinces. But we don't correct anybody. People, I think, consider us part of the Maritimes. It is really a technicality. I almost consider us part of that, but technically we're not. So anyway, Newfoundland's a little far to get to Moncton because it's a flight, but us being an island. But if you're anywhere, really, I mean it. Last year, people came up from Maine. There was lots actually, that drove up from the United States. It's not far. So anyway, my point is it's a lot of fun. And those of you that like to talk hockey and send me messages and chat back and forth, I have often said I'd much rather do it at these events because it's personal. I'll get to know you. I'll put a face to your name. And it saves me having to answer another DM just kind of generically, And everybody there is in the same. They get people in. Ally Afraidy, Brad May. I mean, all of these guys that come in and girls are extremely personable. They wouldn't be going otherwise. It's part of the recommendation is for us to, or part of the deal is for us to go there, and they wouldn't be getting people that were antisocial. So really, this is a fucking awesome time. And if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, take it from me. You're going to love it. So that's Moncton. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll see you guys there soon. Thank you to, here we go. Just 1 second. Hello?
Hey, Terry Brandon from Sports 1440 in Edmonton here. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. I'm just closing down my own podcast now. When do you guys need me on?
Well, if you got a few minutes here right away, that would be great. Or if you just
Sounds
have a
good.
few minutes, then we can accommodate that as well, whatever works best for you.
No, let's do it. I need like 1 minute.
Perfect.
If that's
That'll line up about perfect then. Sounds great.
okay. So you want me to stay on the line?
I'll just throw it. Yeah, I'll just throw you in hold here for a quick second, and then you should be able to, once you pick the phone back up, just hear Schlemmer and Kevin, and then they'll just bring you in from there.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks a lot for taking time here. I know you're very busy, guys, so really appreciate it.
Hey, no sweat. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
You betcha.
Okay, folks, that's Sports 1440 with Kevin Carius. I'm about to go on, and the boys asked me to come on this morning, so I'm going to. If you're downtown St. John's, go to these bars: Bull and Barrel, Trinity Pub, Rob Roy Confusion, Martini Bar, TJ's Pub. If you're going to get a bite to eat, Loose Tie, Merchant Tavern, Blue on Water, Wedgwood Cafe. You want to work out? Strength and balance for the body and mind. Rope Walk Lane, Ryan Power, Power Conditioning. You want to go to Mr. Lube? There's locations, 2 of them. Torbay Road, Cameron Road, Live, Laugh, Lube. True Hockey, take what's yours. I'll be back in just a few days, folks, with more Tales with TR Matthew Barnaby. Right now, I'm about to go on the radio, Sports 1440. Love you guys. Back soon. Catch you on the rebound.